Week 9 SFL action will get started right now as the Denver Nightwings host the Minnesota Legend from Richard L. Snowden Memorial Stadium here in Denver, Colorado, the Mile High City. Good evening, everybody. I am Mike Daggs. Joining me in the booth, as always, is Mr. Gerald Smith. With us on stats tonight, the legend, the Ron Haynes, along with the Mark Mello. You're watching the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music. Gerald, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. I'm in chilly Denver.
Yeah.
And guess what I got to keep me warm? My nice, cozy Kelly Kapowski t-shirt.
Yeah, here on International Women's Day, we're going to get the game started. So, Denver tonight, they're featuring a new head coach, a new old head coach. You know, can we call him that? A returning head coach? Coach Jeremy Vega back on the sideline.
A guy from greatness who been known to flex in pictures with his championship rings, making all of us across the SFL world a little bit jealous.
And his dogs. Or dog? I wonder if he has more than one.
That's very true. He's been known to drink an adult beverage or two, too. So.
Well, you know, he's
he's
well-rounded individual right there.
He's quite famous in some circles.
Well, how's this one going to shake out? There's only one way to find out, and that's on the field. That's what Matt Wilson would say anyway. Denver's going to kick this one off. The 6-1 Minnesota Legend are going to get the first crack at it on offense, and they'll start off all the way up at their own 34-yard line. They got like claw marks all over their uniforms.
Well, that's the Legend clawing at them. I don't know why they'd be clawing at themselves. But
yeah,
it's a great look nonetheless. I like
it is a great look.
Very, very good.
Yeah, I like it. Well, let's get this show on the road. We've got quarterback Johnny Reno leading the Minnesota offense. Be in the I formation to get this game started. We'll start with a handoff to a running back legend in his own right, Colin Hart. He's made his way around the league to a few different teams. Had a stop, down in Louisiana on your Revolution. His fourth season now with Minnesota, 12th in the league. He's a four-time All-Star and gained 7 on the first carry of the day.
Yeah, and this is a guy who's actually third all-time in rushing. How he has not gotten into the Hall of Fame yet, I do not know. Very, very good guy, from his time in Louisiana, and he's a stellar running back as well. What do? I talked about them passing a lot. They run on first down for 7 yards.
Yeah, looks like they might be getting set to run on second down as well, and they do. This time going to Isaac Knox, their rookie running back, who gains about 2.9 and sets him up with a third down in inches. Johnny Reno's the quarterback. Talked about Isaac Knox, Colin Hart. They're the halfbacks. The fullback, Justin Williams. Quagmam, Deezer Powell, T. DeQueen, and Jay Taylor are the wide receivers. Robert Henson Jr. and Jason France are the tight ends. Talk about the offensive line in just a little bit after Colin Hart gets himself a first down. Moving the chains on the offensive line, Brookie Burr, Axel Raven, Ruthie Raven, Dusty Wilson, and Trey Hyman. He is the center. From the 47-yard line, first down and 10 for the Legend. This one going back to Isaac Knox. And it's a team that likes to, split carries between the two. Last week, actually, between the three, I should say, really, they used Justin Williams quite a bit at the fullback position in their win over Seattle. Colin Hart with 12 carries, Justin Williams with 12 carries, Isaac Knox got 3 carries himself. Well-rounded backfield.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to get the run game going, later on to get in the season because they're going to need it to be able to produce.
Well, Stephon Forge had a little something to say about that one as he gets a pretty nice tackle for a loss on that carry. Third down and 8 coming up.
And I'm wondering how much inspired football that the Denver Nightwings will play under their championship-winning head coach once again, and Jeremy Vega. So far, they seem like they're doing pretty good right now for forcing a 3rd and long.
Could be a whole new season for Denver as well with the coaching change. Reno on 3rd down rolls out to his left, throws, and it's a pick. Xavier Rowe, the third, gets the interception and shuts down the Legends opening drive.
You say Xavier Rowe, I'm going to call it a roux because that's how you start some good cooking with a very, very good roux. And what do? You sit there and you pick off a pass to give your team back the ball and be able to start your drive. What a way for Denver to start this game defensively, being able to force a turnover on 3rd and long. And now we're going to see what they can do at home in all blacks.
The Roux gets his 3rd interception on the season. He had 1 interception last season, which was his rookie season with DC. And he's already got 3 here, a little over halfway through the season. So Denver getting things started now on offense. Bailey O'Shaughnessy getting close to St. Patrick's Day, so why not get a little O'Shaughnessy action?
the Irish coming through, yeah?
There he be. I don't know if I can do a good Irish accent. I try to do an Irish accent, and I sound like a pirate.
Pirate? What, so,
or where be the Lucky Charms? It's like, no, that ain't it.
Or pirates Irish?
I don't think so. Most of them aren't they Caribbean, or was that just Jack Sparrow? Anyway, R.E. Mills gets the carry as well. Gain of 2, setting up a 3rd down and 2. Gene Struthers is the quarterback. Ace Ketchum and Bailey O'Shaughnessy are the 2 halfbacks. R.E. Mills is the fullback. Dalton Barker, Logan Keel, Jeremy Mosley, and Dylan Lewis are the receivers. Keith Wheeler and Chris Arthur are the tight ends. Smokey Barr at left tackle. 3rd down and 2. Denver will shift on offense.
Wow.
Handed off wide open for O'Shaughnessy.
He might be
the luck of the Irish gets him all the way down to the 25-yard line. A heck of a run for the Nightwings and a huge 1st down.
What a good run by Bailey O'Shaughnessy, coming out right there and getting the team that deep into Minnesota territory right here. But I need to know, what kind of shoes does Angela Meerkat have? Because she ran him down from behind and tackled him. She's like, it's International Women's Day.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my line.
Gotta get your name called.
Right. And then I did mention, guess who are the superheroes of the world? The women.
Yeah. And she had superhero speed right there.
She sure did.
I'm not sure if it was because of the shoes, though.
It's just the fact that women are just awesome.
All right, well, you were fixated on the shoes a second ago.
I still need to know. I need to give my guys some shoes like that.
Yeah, that's true. Ace Ketchum with a 7-yard scamper on 1st down. Denver on the move here on their opening drive.
And it's been quick, too, right? They had a 3rd and short, and now here they are, right after, just that one play to get themselves, the last 2 plays, get them in the red zone.
From the 18-yard line, O'Shaughnessy. O'Shaughnessy all the way down to the 5-yard line. 1st down and goal for the Nightwings.
And that's the 2nd Meerkat on a Bailey O'Shaughnessy run that comes through with a touchdown-saving tackle as Derek Meerkat brings him down as he gets close to the end zone and gets him inside the 5 there. So Denver, right? Back under the coaching leadership of Jeremy Vega, is showing something really good right now.
5 yards to go from the goal line. Hollywood Boulevard, as Damon Simeon calls it. Pitch up top, goes nowhere. Stuffed in the backfield. Derek Meerkat with the TFL. The Minnesota defense, the defensive line, is Angela Meerkat, who you've mentioned a couple of times, Mark Mello and Max Knight. The linebackers, Stephen Black, Matthew Alvarado, and Jason Clay. The secondary, Cody Griffin, Nicholas Frossel, Johnny Bravo, Adrian Blaine, Jubilee Marsh, and Derek Meerkat. 4 female players on this Minnesota roster. 2 on offense, 2 on defense. Bailey O'Shaughnessy goes nowhere. Stuffed right at the line by Stephen Black. 3rd down and goal. So probably thinking about going to the air, perhaps.
Yeah, and they might have to right here. I mean, they ran on third down to get that huge gain by Bailey O'Shaughnessy earlier, but here they already have 5 wide.
All rushes on this drive so far. And unless Gene Struthers takes off with it, Marcus Dunhill style, it could potentially be a pass.
Still bitter.
I will be until the bitter end. Struthers. Oh, yeah, there you go. Marcus Dunhill style, but slides at the 1 yard line.
What? I would put, if I'm Gene, come on. You got to put the head down and try and get that.
Marcus
Season's on the line.
Marcus would have, he would have just been like, nah, I'm going.
Man, right at the
So close. So close. But an 18-yard field goal try coming up. Neil Rackers with the kick. It's on its way, and it's good. And Denver strikes first. 9 plays, 68 yards, a little over 4 minutes off the board. And they are able to get some points off turnovers. Not the touchdown they wanted, but the points that they needed.
Yep, and the good thing about that right there, being able to take the ball away from Minnesota, it stops them from scoring. At least you're going down there and get some points. It's positive progression for Denver when they haven't had such luck in the more recent weeks with putting points on the board and actually getting some good things going for them.
In the Matt Wilson weekly kickoff show, we had a super chat, and now that we're sitting down and can actually read what's going on and focus, we can get to that super chat. So it was actually from the late Matt Wilson's mother, Carol. So she gave us a $1.99 super chat and said, speaking of dynamic duos, 12 to 83. And that's a shout out to Matt Wilson's number 12. Throwing it to my retired player, number 83. We had quite a few great seasons of tearing up the offense for the Aztecs, Matt and I.
I do remember one game. I knew you was going to try to throw it like that on us, and we could not stop Matt from throwing it to you.
Yeah.
And just tearing us a new one.
Because I'm better than you.
It's frustrating.
Minnesota back out on the field on offense. Speaking of hashtag throw it to the tight end, Jason France.
The Moose coming through with a catch right here. And he was just wide open to give him so much room.
Yeah.
Ran a simple corner route right there. And Johnny Reno couldn't miss. What a way to come out on one of their first drives. I mean, their first play of this drive right here to be able to get right back to midfield. They're looking like they're trying to pick up where they left off minus the interception.
3 minutes to go in the first quarter. That was the first completed pass of the game that at least was not a pick. Incomplete pass there is trying to dump that one down. Second down and 10 now for the legend.
Yeah, tried to get it to T. DeQueen right there. She put her hand out to try and pull it in before she got right up to the defenders, but couldn't quite pull it in after she got hit. Ball fell to the turf.
Reno 17 of 25 for 255 yards and a pair of touchdowns in their win over Seattle. So far in this one, 1 for 3. Fourth pass attempt coming up. Dumps that one down, and man, Gerald, that one bounced right off of Xavier Rowe, and could have been a pick if he had turned around a little quicker.
He was playing the guy more than the ball right there, but he could have had himself another pick to kill another Minnesota drive. But they've actually forcing another 3rd and long.
Reno drops back to throw. Has time, fires deep down the field, and man, again, back-to-back plays. The pass goes right to a Nightwings defender. That one was Lucas DeVore getting his hands on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Johnny Reno saw right there. It was severely overthrown and just got thrown right to Lucas DeVore, and he couldn't come away with it. But still, it's like, man, that was really dangerous. He was going for Quaig Mam on that route.
And Minnesota will have to punt. So their first couple of drives, just not what you'd expect to see from a 6-1 team versus a 2-5 team, is throws a pick and then has to punt. Denver able to capitalize on their first drive. We'll see what they're able to do on this one. They'll start off from their own 19-yard line.
Yeah, and it seems like if they can muster together another drive, go down and get points, I'd be like, man, I mean, what kind of Denver team could we have been seeing, had they had a coaching change early on in the season, right? I know they had a coaching member step back.
Yep.
And the great, I will call him great because he's done great things with his team when he was at the helm, and Jeremy Vega winning 2 championships here in Denver. So we're gonna see how much he can muster with the team today.
We're gonna stick to the running game for now. Bailey O'Shaughnessy picks up 6 yards. Gene Struthers still has yet to throw a pass, Gerald, but in their game against Portland, they lost that one 34-27. But Struthers was 23 of 32, had over 350 yards, and threw a touchdown pass. The problem in that game, Gerald, is he also threw 3 picks.
3 interceptions, and he actually, with 3 interceptions, still completed nearly 72% of his passes.
Yeah. Going back down to the ground, Ace Ketchum gets stuffed right at the line. No gain on the play. Adrian Blaine, one of the 4 women that I mentioned on this Minnesota Legend roster, she gets the stop. Her first season here with Minnesota, coming over from Florida, where she made the All-Star team for the first time this past season.
She had a phenomenal season last year. In my opinion, she was up there for Defensive Player of the Year last season as well. Didn't quite get it, but
stuffed right at the line again, and that drive is a quick 3-and-out for the Nightwings. So the Legend defense steps up and does their thing, and Denver will have to punt this one away from their own 25.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a very good choice of plays right there on 3rd and 4 to try and pick up that yardage needed, right? Because I mean, Minnesota knows you're gonna try and ground and pound it right there, right? So I just don't think they have confidence in the Denver passing game at all. So they're gonna stuff the box any chance they get.
So Minnesota will take the ball back over at their own 48-yard line. Not long to go before they can be in Denver territory on this possession. They'll hand the ball off and promptly run right into Denver territory and then some.
No!
But Colin Hart fumbles it away, and it is picked up by Denver. And the second turnover on 3 drives by this Minnesota offense. Denver recovers possession.
Wow, so what a great run by Colin Hart. And then it gets knocked out by Stephon Ford from behind. He just punched it right out of there. Recovered by one of his teammates.
Yeah,
there.
Lucas DeVore.
And they got
scooped it right up.
Right, and they have the ball back again off of a turnover. Let's see what they can do this. I mean, they have very favorable field position right here as well.
Lucas DeVore joining us in the chat. He saw his player scoop that ball up. So let's go.
It didn't even hit the ground.
Nope. That's how. Yeah, you can't even contest that one. He's like,
he's like, I missed out on the pick on the previous drive. It hit me right in the chest. Mm-hmm. Not this time. Not even letting that ball hit the ground. Pick it up.
2nd down and 10. O'Shaughnessy goes up the middle for a gain of 4 yards. And Colin Hart ran that ball about 20 yards, Gerald, and then had the ball punched out. That's painful.
It's about the worst thing that can happen for a running back.
Yeah.
Get a huge gain and think you're running for more, and somebody just comes from behind and just punches it right out.
Struthers goes down the left sideline into double coverage, and another quick 3-and-out. So this Denver defense has been able to take the ball away twice and force Minnesota to punt once on Minnesota's 3 offensive possessions. And they were able to get some points off turnovers, but only 3 on those 3 total possessions. So not the greatest offensive production quite yet. That first drive was going quite. I mean, they got all the way down to the 1.
Right.
And then these last 2 quick 3-and-outs on both.
And they can't continue to have that type of an offensive output. The first drive was great, the last 2 not so much. So they can't continue to have that kind of an offensive output because there's going to come a time where Minnesota is not going to turn the ball over in Denver territory And if that keeps happening consistently, where they keep getting down in Denver territory, they're eventually going to come away with points. And if Denver can't answer that, then it's going to be a long day for Denver.
Coach Vega might be, I don't know, questioning some of his own play calling. He wants to throw more, I think. In the chat, we do know how to pass, he says. Colin Hart unable to gain anything on that first carry, and that will bring the first quarter of a low-scoring game to a close. So Denver's out in front, 3-0 over the Minnesota Legend. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on YouTube. We take a peek at the team stats for the game so far. Not a high offensive production game by either team, especially if you're a fan of passing.
Yeah, the equivalent of 18.
That's it.
It's not a good
That's
number.
all of it. That's the whole thing. Reno trying to add to that total by throwing to the Moose, and he gets it done. Adding on some yards there. First down and 10 for the Legend.
Yeah, and guess what? The Moose I think, is the only one that actually has a catch in the game.
Yep.
So the Moose, and what do? They're like, hey, that corner route worked on one of the previous drives we get down there. And guess what it is? Hey, we're just going to flip it and give the Moose another corner route.
When in doubt, hashtag throw it to a Moose.
Throw it to a Moose.
Yeah, I got to get some T-shirts made up to say something.
Is it Moose, like one Moose, two Moose, or is it like Mooses?
No, it doesn't matter the sheer number of moose in the herd. It's still moose either way. One moose, many moose.
Well, if you have, think of it like I have one goose.
Yeah.
I have 3 geese.
Right.
If a goose turns to geese, why can't be moose be meese?
What?
It's the same letters, just one thing changes.
I'm with you, but why are we talking about this?
I don't know, man. I just find it weird. It's like, yeah, it's a plural form of stuff. It's just weird.
Oh, look, a football game.
English is hard.
That's true, especially when you're Cajun. Colin Hart, he's able to gain 5 on that carry. Fumbled one away on the last possession. Denver defense trying to get the stop. Gerald Cumbus, Hugo Reynosa, Brenda Puff, and Joseph Sabolka on the defensive line. Louis Quintana, Stuart Gotts, Stefan Forge, the linebackers. Reno to throw over the middle. And the only man to catch a ball, the Moose, gets another first down.
There's one Moose on this field, so we don't have to worry about the plural form of Moose. So the Moose is making it happen. They only have one other reception from a pass catcher in the game. All of it's been to France, and he's got his team, it looks like, within field goal range now.
Yeah, 58 passing yards. And piling them in to Jason France. Xavier Rue III, Nick Kindler, Andre Tucker, Luke Schreiner, Lucas DeVore, and Jeff Melanishin make up the secondary. A loss of 1 on that carry by Justin Williams as he gets involved in on the action.
Right, and here we go. And we're going to see how they're going to do right here as they get down. You know, they're inside the 30. Are they going to keep it to the air and kind of maybe start feeding the Moose a little bit? Whatever you feed Moose.
He does want to eat.
Yeah, I know. Feed him.
Pass over the middle goes to a new target, Deezer Powell. Getting a catch, getting a first down and goal for the Legend.
Yeah, that's Deezer Powell's second catch of the game. They don't want the Moose to get overfed too early and just fall asleep maybe. I don't know. But, hey, they found an open guy, and now they're inside the 10-yard line right here, first and goal.
Powell with a 1-yard catch earlier on, close to the sideline. Getting some conflicting reports. It could be Meese. It could be Moosin. I still maintain it's only Moose. Reno tries to dump that one down, and it's going to bounce harmlessly out of bounds. They'll call it a backwards pass, so might lose some yards on that one. Trying to hit it to Justin Williams. Looked like some miscommunication on that play, Gerald. I don't think Williams was expecting a pass.
No, Williams kind of went a little bit, a couple yards back further than the quarterback. The quarterback was expecting him to kind of stay on line, but it threw somewhat of a ladder on it. Kind of turned into a fumble. Looked like a forward pass to me, but maybe the refs didn't see it that way.
The Roo was trying to get there and scoop it up, but it bounced out of bounds. Moose eat footballs, I guess. Makes sense.
This one does.
Reno.
Oh.
To Andre Tucker, who can't bring that one in, but third down and goal. The secondary for the Night Wings, Gerald, they've had their hands all over these passes tonight.
Well, and they have. Somebody hit him in the face. They picked one of them off, and I think the only defender that hadn't had anything hit him in the hands has been Jeff Melanishin.
4 wide receivers on the field on this third down and goal from the 12. Reno, deep drop, fires towards the end zone, caught, fighting, can't get there. Deezer Powell with the catch, but the defense holds and sets up a 4th and goal from the 1.
Xavier Rue with a huge stop right there, being able to hold Deezer Powell out of the end zone and forcing an 18-yard attempt. Wow.
Double M7, Mickey Malillo, the kicker. Kick is up, kick is good. 3 apiece as both offenses from each of these teams ultimately got stopped at the 1 and had to kick an 18-yard kick.
It ain't that something, and they both get stopped at the 1, kick the same length of field goal.
Yep. Going the same direction,
right.
By the way.
Maybe you can only score points going in that direction.
You only can,
maybe that's a thing.
You only can score touchdowns on the other end zone. Nice return up the gut. Jason France in the chat saying, go for it. And then when he saw they didn't, he says, bah. Which is potentially.
Yeah. Is that a sound the Moose makes?
Obviously, I think it is.
He's hungry. He wants more footballs.
I thought it was sheep that made that sound.
Have you heard a moose make a noise? I haven't.
I have never heard a moose. No, my wife and I were walking around the Adirondacks. We were looking for moose because they were allegedly up there. We never came across any. So I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but I mean, when you see a moose spell out, bah.
It must be so.
Nightwings offense back on the field, and they finally are able to find a connection. A pass over the middle. Logan Keel gets this passing game going.
As head coach Vega said, look, we can pass.
They can.
Early on. And guess what they do? Gene Struthers throws one on the move across his body a little bit to the long-time Denver Nightwing and Logan Keel, his 10th season with the team. And now they are like right at midfield.
Shout out to those of you joining us in the chat tonight. We got Jeremy Vega, Jason France, T. DeQueen, Brooks Serrano, Artie Donovan, Bone Frossel, and so many more. Oh, Matt Wilson special right there. Little end-over-end duck. Falls incomplete, 2nd down.
Matt Wilson would be disappointed at Jeremy Mosley because that duck was firmly in his hands and he still dropped it.
Yeah. If it quacks like a duck, it looks like a duck, you should catch it, as he always would say.
It's delicate. Ducks are delicate.
Yeah, you got to be gentle with it.
Throw a duck and see what happens.
PETA might have some complaints about you telling people to throw ducks, but don't recommend. I don't think it's good advice. Split backs now in the backfield, 2nd down and 10. Oh, blitz coming, and it gets there. Oh, man, I could feel that one from up here. Stephen Black finishing him off, 3rd and 14.
Yeah, and Derek Meerkat came right over the edge and actually had Gene Struthers, and he just kind of shedded him. And then the defender and Stephen Black comes in and just cleans it up. Now it's 3rd and 14. It sets up, and this, by all means, because Denver is not known for throwing, is so much in Minnesota's favor on paper, with these 3rd and longs.
Only 3 down linemen for the Legend defense. Struthers back to pass. Looking, under pressure, takes off with it again, and runs right into the waiting arms of Black. That'll bring this drive to a close. So Denver able to strike first, but not strike often, as they've only got these 3 points, and then the rest of their drives have really not resulted in much. If you are new to the Simulation Football League, welcome. The SFL is football for everyone. Get off the sideline and start your player today by joining our Discord server at simulationfl.net. Click the Join the Community button and begin your career or just to meet the stars of the SFL both on and off the field, it's never too late to get involved. And Gerald, you can meet the folks in the league off the field at the SFL convention, finally announced just the other day. SFL convention heading back to Houston. Friday, July 12th gets things started.
Should be great fun. Was there a couple of seasons ago. It was a really, really great time. All SFL convention really located.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's be great fun. Maybe get to see and meet some new people.
And see some old faces we haven't seen in a whole year. Got a game update from SFL Studios. Cameron Irvine, take it away.
Thanks, Mike. Well, no shortage of offense in Baltimore tonight. Motor City taking on the Vultures. T-Roy Gaines, get out of my way. Touchdown Vultures, 14-7 still in the first quarter over there. Guy Clausen, Alvin Mack already hurt. Back to you in Denver.
Thank you, Cam. Well, I think that V8 got ran over by a semi on that play, so a bit of a car crash. Incomplete pass by Reno. Sets up a 3rd down and 8. Reno now 6 of 13 on the day, 86 yards.
Yeah, it's been quite the defensive performance by both squads thus far in the game, right? Got a couple of turnovers, got some punts, got a sack or two in there as well. So it's 3rd and long right here. Let's see if Denver can actually slow them down here on 3rd down, actually force them to punt.
Reno back to throw. Oh, finally connecting with T to Queen. Her first catch of the ball game goes for a big 1st down.
Yeah, and T is the number 2 wide receiver in receptions on the team. And here she is making a huge catch, running right down the seam, splitting the safeties, and getting the team like near midfield now.
To Queen with 3 receptions for 38 yards in the win over Seattle. Reno, a nice one-handed jumping catch by Jay Taylor. So Reno's starting to split it around a little bit more now, Gerald.
Yeah, and Jay Taylor being like the leading receiver on the team in receptions and yards, and making a one-handed catch right over the middle. And it's starting to seem like, Minnesota and Johnny Reno in that receiving corps are starting to find their footing. They're starting to find a little bit of the holes in the Denver defense right now.
7-10, over 100 yards in the last 10 passes, and that one goes right back to Jay Taylor. Definitely finding their footing indeed as Taylor gets another catch.
And what Denver's going to have to do right here, it seems like, especially on these last few routes, right? Johnny Reno is in a rhythm, right? Like it's all timing, right? Like, hey, snap it right here, get separation, the ball's coming out, right? So it's all timing for them right now, and Denver's going to have to do something to disrupt that timing, bumping a receiver, getting in there pretty quick, add a little pressure to the quarterback or something to slow him down.
Reno throws again to Jay Taylor. 3 plays, 3 receptions, 2nd down and 1.
And it's been, look, and this is what has them, at Johnny Reno being the number 1 passer in the league in terms of yards, because as soon as he gets back to his drop, the ball's coming out.
2nd down and 1. Going back down to Colin Hart, breaks a couple tackles and gains about 4 yards as we hit the 3-minute mark here in the first half.
It's been a fast-going first half, too, and only 3 points. Usually defensive struggles, man, game kind of slows down a bit, but here we are about to approach the 2-minute warning in the first half.
Trips down to the bottom, but it's a handoff going back to Isaac Knox. Knox gets a good carry there, Gerald, and sets up a 1st down and goal.
And he just runs right there. It was a little bit of a favorable spot to get him 1st and goal right there at the 2, but Here they are, 1st and goal from the 2. Let's see if they can punch it in, right? They got stopped at the 1 last time. Let's see if they can punch it in right here. Or is Denver defense going to step up? I mean, look, they made a huge stop against Louisiana.
Minnesota fighting for their first lead of the ball game, and they get it. Touchdown, Colin Hart. And the first touchdown of the game comes on the legs of Colin Hart.
And it did it on that huge pass on 3rd down to D. DeQueen right there. T, bringing in that ball, running down the seam early in the drive, getting close to midfield. And after that, it just seems like they got into somewhat of a rhythm in the passing game. 3 or 4 straight completed passes, and here they are right there down to the 2. Running in with Colin Hart. Getting themselves, after this, 7-point lead.
Extra point is through, and the legend, after 9 plays, 82 yards, find the end zone and get themselves a 2-point lead. 7-point lead, excuse me. Are you liking the game so far? Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There is no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action, and help the channel grow through your support. Plenty of games that you'll be able to enjoy at the convention. Got a slate of several live games that will be called right there at the convention in person. So people that have only ever watched the SFL online, can see a little peek behind the curtain and watch the broadcast team actually doing their thing right there side by side, which for a lot of the broadcasters is rare that they actually get to sit side by side and
we are in a severe minority that get to sit every week, sit next to one another. It offers a different type of experience when calling a game, and adds a whole nother level of excitement.
It really does, yeah. It's a great time at the convention. Looking forward to heading down there. R.E. Mills gets himself a 6-yard carry. That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning here in the first half. 2 minutes to go. A 13-point total ball game so far, Gerald. 10-3, Minnesota out in front. See if Denver's able to get anything going here from the, we'll call it 35.5. O'Shaughnessy had some nice runs to start the ball game. He had a 35-yarder earlier on. Been a little bit quiet since that time. Gets that carry and only goes for a small gain. 3rd down and 3 coming up.
Yeah, and this is where like Denver, on pass drives have still continued to run, and it seems like Minnesota is expecting it. So we're going to see how they're going to do it, because Minnesota right now has 7 in the box.
Struthers will throw. Has time. Finds a wide open target. Keith Wheeler gets his first catch of the ball game. It's still plenty of time on the clock. All 3 timeouts.
Yeah, and they actually got it right there. I don't think Minnesota was expecting this type of stuff right there, and Wheeler just kind of had a crossing route right over the middle and gets close to midfield to be able to bring that catch in.
6'4", 255-pound Keith Wheeler, 2nd season in the league and with the Night Wings. Content to let the clock roll a little bit more. They don't want to give the ball back to Minnesota either way.
I mean, I'd take time too, because I do believe they actually get the ball at the half.
They do indeed. They will start the ball in the second half of action. They're going to call a timeout here after a gain of 4.
And they're playing it right now, right? I do believe so, right? Being able to, get this ball and actually take, the first of their 3 timeouts right there, regroup, figure out which one you need, because you're sitting right here at the opponent's 45.
Three down linemen for the Nemesis. 4 wide receivers and a tight end. Oh, they're going to blitz, though. Pressure on his way. Struthers gets it away. Couldn't find an open target. 3rd down and 6.
I was looking for the other tight end right there. and it seemed like he had something, or maybe got confused as to where the ball was going to go, or maybe it's a little bit low, but Struthers was able to thread the needle and still kind of get it there. It was a little off, maybe a little bit behind him as well.
Yeah. Dalton Barker and Chris Alter having a conversation after that play, talking about maybe what went wrong. 3 receivers up top and the tight end. They go that direction, get the completion. And originally, Keel wasn't even touched. He got up and tried to run with it, and then finally got tackled, burning another timeout, 1 remaining.
I didn't really even see Logan Keel right there on that play until after the ball was caught. I saw a couple of wide receivers do a stop route, and I'm looking like, where's he throwing the ball? They're not even reacting to it, but it wasn't intended for them.
Yeah.
They were decoys,
well,
apparently.
I don't think the Minnesota defense saw Keel either, because he was able to get back up off the ground. So, Struthers, quick pass. Oh, and he gets that connection. Jeremy Mosley getting the completion, gets a first down, and hey, don't look now. Denver in scoring position.
Right, and they used the last of their 3 timeouts to throw it to their former tight end toward wide receiver, Jeremy Mosley, and getting him inside the red zone down to the 16.
First down and 10. Struthers looks, throws, and it's picked off. Jubilee Marsh jumps right in front of that pass. Struthers must not have seen him, Gerald.
Well, it looked like it may have been a little bit of a miscommunication right there as well, because there's a wide receiver right there in the area, and he just couldn't look right there, number 85.
Yeah, he just didn't react.
He just didn't react to the ball. Maybe he didn't see it and allowed the defender to have the edge. And
Derek Doris, one of the backup receivers out there, after the offense been running a marathon down the field on the 2-minute drill, doing a great job, but then a player without a lot of playing time getting out there and just does not know how to react to that pass, and it costs them greatly. Don't look now, but Minnesota comes out firing.
Yeah, it looks like they just might let it run down right here.
Yeah, wanted to see what maybe one quick pass would net them. But
man, like the backup wide receiver, it was almost like like in Little League, right? You put the worst kid in right field because nobody hit the ball that way. He's like, yeah, I'm just coming in here because somebody needs a breather. They're not going to throw it to me. What do? Throw it to him.
Yep.
Wasn't even looking for it. Cost them points.
Probably one more play here in the first half. The ball goes to Colin Hart. He'll gain a couple, and that will lead us into halftime. So the Minnesota Legends, they're out in front, but really not a lot of offensive production by either of these teams so far as we head to halftime with the score Minnesota 10, Denver 3. Gerald, your thoughts so far on the first half of action?
Well, Denver has had many opportunities to put up more than 3 points, right? But their offensive struggles, and they looked really, really good on that first drive after that first interception that they got. They went down there and got points, got stopped at the 1, and then their defense was able to hold up and then actually stop their opponent on the 1 and force them to kick a field goal as well. But when you leave a team that is 6-1 on the season, winning 6 in a row, without taking advantage of the opportunities, you leave them lingering around. They're 6-1 for a reason. They're going to find a way to put themselves in a situation to succeed, and that's what Minnesota has done. Now, Denver isn't out of the game. They still have a shot. I mean, they're getting this second half kickoff, but I mean, they got the work cut out for them. They got to do something a little bit better on offense to be able to, come away with the game.
I mean, Minnesota's not lighting any fires either. I mean, it's 10 points so far for the Legends. So yeah, absolutely, Denver still very much in this one. They get the ball here. They've got every opportunity in the world to go down and get this one tied up. I'm Mike Dykes. He's Gerald Smith. We got Mark Mello and Ron Haynes with us on stats. Cameron Irvine, our producer, back at SFL Studios. Richard L. Snowden Stadium here in Denver, Colorado, the site of tonight's ball game. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Let's get the second half started. Kick goes deep into the end zone and kneeled down. So the team stats tell the story is the passing yard game is finally picked up by both of these teams, but one quite a bit more so than the other.
Yeah, and that's what actually has got Minnesota with the lead right now, right? They have a little bit of a better passing game than what
Denver.
Denver's having. So,
Yeah.
and they're actually more than doubling it.
Bailey O'Shaughnessy splits out wide to the slot, pump fake, and sacked. Brought down by Max Knight.
Max Knight is one large human being.
350 pounds.
And he has a team lead. That's his team leading 5th sack, running right up the middle. Very large man. Knows how to sack the quarterback. He knows how to sack the quarterback his entire career. And he's a menace at 6'5", 350 pounds.
Yeah, it's like trying to block a train from coming through.
And people aren't doing it. He's got 5 sacks now in the season.
2nd down and 16 now. Blitz on its way. Struthers
Look
looks. Oh! Oh!
Wow. How is Struthers up right now?
Are you all right, Gene? Holy smokes.
He looked a little bit lost right there, but Max Knight was in his grill, and he's lucky to get that ball off. When he threw it, it like Max Knight's body just engulfed Gene Struthers' body. It was something crazy.
Oh, just watch the replay, and how are his ribs not broken? Well, they might be. I was yeah. Based on that last pass, there might be some broken ribs as Gene Struthers heads back over to the sideline. He might want to get checked out by the medical staff. But Denver getting the ball to start the second half and netted -6 on the drive.
And that was all due to Max Knight on 2 straight plays. And then the last one, I think he might have been afraid to hold on to because Max Knight, even on that last play, was looking like he was getting separation and going to pursue the quarterback one more time.
That punt only going to the 40-yard line. So Minnesota will get their best starting field position of the ball game. And it's a bit of a breeze going from right to left.
A bit. I think it's a pretty strong breeze.
26-yard punt for the Night Wings. Colin Hart had 10 carries for 45 yards in the first half. Gets another 5 yards there. 2nd down.
Yeah, good 5-yard chunk right there, especially after getting the ball in your opponent's territory, right?
Yeah.
The punt with the wind, it made it extremely short.
And with the wind right now, they're already in double M7 range.
Yeah, and I don't even think that Minnesota has showed any panic after that first drive. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they've
I
actually,
agree.
I mean, they know who they are, and they're just going to do it. So
This one goes to Isaac
wow.
Knox. Knox
and
gets
a face mask.
on his way down. See if they call it incidental or ripped his head off as it looked. And incidental. I mean, he did a full 360 and then fell to the ground in pain. But what do I know?
I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, well, it seems like the ones that look like you barely noticed. You're like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, no, I mean, he decapitated him, but it's fine. It was an incidental decapitation.
Well, when you got
these things happen.
Isaac Knox is 6'3", 235 pounds. They're like, he can take it.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's a rookie. Welcome to the league.
Yeah, that's how we break you in. Colin Hart gets absolutely swarmed by the Nightwing defense. Makes it back to the line. They'll spot him with a 1-yard gain. 2nd and 9.
Damn, Denver's got to do something here to just kind of the way their offense is played thus far, I think they need to just give up nothing more than a field goal here.
Reno trying to hit the moose. But you can't fire bullets at a moose and expect good results. So 3rd down and 9. I think all that would do, if you shot a moose, I guess it depends on what caliber firearm you use, but I think with most, like if you say you have a 22 caliber rifle or something, you shoot a moose, you're just going to make it really mad.
Forever, like, what happened?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Oh, I just got a mosquito bite. Reno throws over the middle again. Connected with Deezer Powell. 1st down and goal. Gerald, we talked about it in the weekly kickoff show. Minnesota has made some sort of points out of every single trip they have made to the red zone this season. They're back in it here.
Yeah, and here they are looking at getting more points right here out of a red zone trip. So, I mean, there's no wasted opportunities once they get down here in the red zone. So, and they know how to protect the ball, obviously, right? And they're coming away with some kind of score.
Johnny Reno, only 6 interceptions total on the season. Colin Hart gets a little more than half of what they needed there. 2nd down and goal from about the 2.
Yeah, at this point, right, I think it's going to be either Justin Williams or Isaac Knox right here from the 3. And it's Denver's got to step up on defense right here. They got to get some penetration from the defensive line to be able to try to, get the running backs off their running lanes here.
10 in the box. They do indeed get the stop. 3rd down and goal. I think they might spot him with a 1-yard gain there, Gerald, but that's about it. So a big 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, and that was a huge stop right there by Jeff Milanishin coming right there, holding up Isaac Knox just long enough for one of his teammates to come and help him out.
Ball is handed off. Colin Hart gets into the end zone. Touchdown Legend. And they extend their lead. It'll be a 2-touchdown game after this extra point.
Yeah, and there's not very many players around this league that can make an arm tackle on Colin Hart coming off the edge right there, but very, very good blocking right on the edge, on the outside right there by Jay Taylor, kind of sealing the edge and actually almost blocking 2 guys there on that play to be able to help his running back get in there and to give them a 2-score lead now.
Double M7, Mickey Melillo on for the extra point. Kick is good, 17-3. 8-play, 40-yard drive by the Legend. Gerald, we talked about the convention a little bit. Exciting, recent news announced by the league about the location, time frame of the SFL convention this summer. So whether you're part of the league or not, everyone's invited. You can get joined in on the league and find out the details and join the convention channel. And you too can join. The 2024 convention is headed back to South Shore Harbor Resort in League City, Texas. It's just south of Houston. It's going to be July 12th through the 14th. It's going to feature live games. It's also going to be flag football, a golf tournament, some tailgating, a pool party, and more. For all the convention details, you can go to simulationfl.net/news/convention. There you can reserve your room. You can see the event schedule and even more. The Matt Wilson Weekly Kickoff Show will make its Season 23 debut live on site.
Might bring on special guests. That would be very interesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be a great time. Struthers pirouetting a little bit and then trying to connect down to Jeremy Mosley. That pass is incomplete. 4 of 10 now on the day. So we see his not only last 10, but his only 10 passes. Actually, he's got 11 on the day now, but 4 of 10 with a pick in the last 10, only 60 yards.
Yeah, and they got to do better than that. And they're coming out in a passing formation. They understand down 2 scores. They're going to have to get a little bit more sense of urgency, and we're going to see if they're going to pass here.
Short pass over the middle, at least to get one complete, connecting with Keel. Gets half of what they needed, setting them up with a 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, and this is something that they've struggled with, in this game, is converting these 3rd downs into first downs, right? And it hasn't really mattered how long the 3rd downs have been. They've struggled, a good share amount on getting them things.
Yeah, 3 of 8 so far on 3rd down. Struthers, sacked again. So I remember in our week 3 ball game, the Aztecs took on the Minnesota Legend, and watching film in preparation for the game and in practicing, we noticed that Max Knight was just a disruptive force that we could not stop. Yeah, I couldn't figure out anything to do. I basically told Jordan Sipe, so listen, when you see a freight train coming through the offensive line, turn tail and run, or just throw it away. I don't even care if you get an intentional grounding penalty. Get rid of that ball. He still got us a couple of times in that one, having absolutely a monster season for a monster man, Max Knight, shutting down that Denver Drive.
It's a very, very large man. Speaking of the convention, by the way,
Yeah.
You mentioned, hey, no matter how long you've been in the league, you're welcome to attend. Guess who? A guy like me got involved with the league. Found the league late in the offseason.
Yeah.
Showed up at the very first SFL convention where our good buddy Matt Wilson got inducted in the Hall of Fame. Very good. Pre-speech by you before he came up was an amazing thing, and that's when I realized that this community, the way people have become friends and friends join the league, something that was extremely touching. And at the time, we didn't know each other and everything else.
I remember seeing you there, but
right?
didn't know who you were.
And I'm like, I said, these guys, I'm in the right place as far as the community goes. So couldn't be more appreciative for friendships that you, me, and Matt kind of grew together, from a broadcast standpoint, and
Absolutely.
And now with Matt's passing, we've grown even closer. So it's very, very good stuff. So I recommend anybody who has a chance to attend, if you can afford it and make it, definitely show up.
Yeah, even if you feel like you don't know a lot of people in the league, maybe you're one of the quieter people. Maybe you pop into general chat and observe, but you don't really listen, or I should say, speak or join in on conversations. Go anyway. Go anyway and just soak it all in and experience it for yourself, because it's an experience like no other. Deezer Powell keeps the drive alive so that we can keep on yapping. Thank you, Deezer, for getting that done for us. But it's something special. I mean, the SFL and the community that makes it up is something that you really can't get almost anywhere else. It's a rare sort of thing. You get people from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, all ethnicities, all different upbringings, and they all come together and bond over one common interest that they can all take some joy out of. It enables people to do things that they couldn't do anywhere else. There's so much more depth to the league than just what we're watching right now as the sim plays out. And you can experience it all in person at the convention. It's an absolutely fantastic time. We've spent like half the third quarter talking about it, so I'll let it go. But, strongly recommend you check it out.
Yeah. So, long story short, it's a must-make event. Even if it's just one time you do it, it will change your outlook on the league.
3rd down and 2 coming up for the Legends. They will get it and keep the drive going. So the Legends started off kind of slow tonight, Gerald, but right now showing why they're 6-1. They, like you said earlier on, I think here in the third quarter, they showed no sign of panic. Their first drive, they threw a pick. Denver went down the field, got all the way to the 1-yard line. They held them to a field goal, and it took a couple more drives. Minnesota still couldn't get anything going, but now they've got a 2-score lead. 2nd down and 9, they're in field goal range right here, and still surging on.
Yeah, and a lot of teams, right? Look, and they know exactly who they are, right? Like you said, they started the season with the loss, and then they turn around and just rattled off, 6 straight games.
Yeah.
They found out who they are. They know who they are. And look, hey, we're going to run and execute our game plan as best as possible. If you can stop us, great. If you can't, then we'll just keep doing what I do. So they're very, very well coached team.
Reno with another short drop, quick pass, and completion for 2. Deezer Powell getting another one.
And they're
down at 7.
And it does look like they're right here in double M7 field goal range right here. But I'm sure Johnny Reno in this offense is not happy with the field goal. They want to go down and get a touchdown to make sure they put this game away, even though it's in the third quarter, because Denver has struggled outside of that first drive.
Reno trying to keep the drive alive. T to Queen in motion up to the top, 2 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Pass is away, but it is a wobbly duck. Again, we've seen a few of those tonight. And drive comes to a close, but they're at the 30-yard line, so I think double M7 up there is going to try a long field goal.
Yeah, it looked like Gerald Cummins came right on the edge and kind of forced that ball to come fluttering out of Johnny Reno's hand right there. So that's a pretty good stop too, from Denver if they want to try and keep this game alive for themselves.
This one from 47 is long on the field's 53, and that 47 connects through. 10 plays, Only 29 yards. It's actually hard to do, to have a 10-play double-digit drive and have it go for less than 30. That takes some skills right there.
They somehow done it. I don't know, how do you fit 10 plays
That's
in 30
what I'm saying.
yards?
Because
It's crazy.
yeah, because you would think, at best you're going to get like 9 plays and you're already going to hit 30 because you're going to get like three, and another.
Every third play you'd have to get 10 yards.
Right.
Theoretically.
So I don't know. I leave that to the statisticians to figure out. That one I don't know.
So is the 10th play the field goal? Then that would make sense. Possibly.
That must be it.
Math in the head.
Don't
want to do it.
No, that's why we have Ron Haynes and Mark Mello.
So I got a question about the convention as well. Do we get to bring our wonderful cooks that we have?
Do we have to bring cooks?
No, our cooks.
Oh yeah,
we
got to. Yeah,
wonderful.
Got to bring the staff.
Got to have a catering staff that does that stuff. Yeah, why not?
Heck yeah, man. I mean, who else is going to pick out my clothes in the morning if we don't bring them along?
That's true.
Second down. As that pass is incomplete, Gene Struthers has had a tough go of it so far, Gerald. 5 of 12, now 5 of 13 after that pass, completing less than 40% of his passes.
Yeah, and for only 5 yards per attempt, so that's not a very good average. It's it tells the story of their struggles because they're not doing a whole lot in the run game either. Look, Bailey O'Shaughnessy, they pretty much abandoned the run because of how far they've been behind, but it's just been a struggle for them. Oh!
Getting that one complete to Logan Keel. Gives Denver some new life. Fresh set of downs.
I don't know how that was completed. I've seen 2 guys around Logan Keel, and Struthers rolled out and threw it back the other direction, flat-footed, and still able to get it to his wide receiver, and Logan Keel made the catch and resets the chains. And if they're looking at any kind of comeback, they're going to have more of that type stuff.
Yeah, and I think it would have to start now. There's still a whole quarter left, but these quarters go by quick, especially when a team like Minnesota can drag it out and use that running game to bleed the clock. They're going to have to get something going. So Struthers into double coverage, climbing that ladder and getting the catch. Jeremy Mosley getting it done, and heck, out of all the catches I've seen so far tonight, Gerald, I'm going to call that one the nice hands catch, brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it. SFL 4K 23. Gotta love seeing a nice jumping one-handed catch. I think I'd be interested to go back and see how many jumping one-handed catches received the nice hands catch mention. Probably a bunch. It's pretty.
Maybe
so pretty.
It is. Maybe our producer Cameron Irvine can find someone to go back and clip all that.
That would be wholly unnecessary.
Look, we need a nice hands catch of the year.
Oh. So
that would be the sole reason to do it. It doesn't have to be whoever got thrown in the game, the nice hands catch, but we need that. Nice hands catch of the year.
Get a little montage going of back to back to back to back nice hands catches.
100%.
Yeah. So, we'll see. That might be something that we can put together. Hey, listen, as the Matt Wilson weekly kickoff show keeps going through the season, maybe we can even add some random nonsense like that into it.
Yeah, dude, we need it. We'll have grades of, this is 4 bowls of gumbo worth of goodness.
Is that our rating system? How many bowls of gumbo they're awarded?
This team's as hot as 8 Wickles pickles.
The sky's the limit. Who knows? 3 quarters down, 10 minutes to go here from Denver. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on YouTube.
The of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
I'm Mike Daggs. He's Gerald Smith, Ron Haynes, Mark Mello on stats. Cameron Irvine back at SFL Studios. Minnesota 1 yard shy of 300 yards of offense, but Denver's starting to get things going. But like we talked about earlier in this drive, they got to turn this one into something. O'Shaughnessy able to pick up 5 there. Second down.
Yeah, and they're actually doing it on this drive, right? Like, they're doing it in the passing game, right? They're moving the ball and getting it there. Like I said, Bailey O'Shaughnessy's doing really good on the ground, with his 10 carries for 77 yards, getting, over 7.5 yards a carry, but they got to turn this into points.
O'Shaughnessy fighting forward. He'll gain 4, setting up a 3rd down and 1. The Arizona Scorpions chiming in, saying linebacker Sean Moore with the Retroid nice hands catch of the year. Ron Haynes in our stats truck was even asking, can it be a defensive player, the nice hands catch? Sure.
Did you see that catch?
I don't recall the one he's talking about.
Wow.
Was it pretty?
Oh, yeah.
Trying to keep this drive going. Ace, catch him. He gets it. 1st down for Denver.
Yep, and that's a way for them to move the chains, keep it going, right? But I still think that now the clock is going to be is not their friend right now. So, as they start inching closer, they need to, kind of have a little bit of a sense of urgency, right? You want to cut it down to 2 scores.
Struthers trying to do just that, setting up the Nightwings with a 1st down and goal. The only other time in this ball game that they were able to get down to this portion of the field, the drive ended at the 1-yard line on a Gene Struthers scramble. That was all the way back in the opening drive, finally back down here inside the 10.
Yeah, and here's where they can just punch it in, right? A field goal still does them some good, but I think a touchdown makes them feel a lot better about where they sit in the 4th quarter.
Ball is handed off. Oh, well, that's classic Matthew Alvarado right there.
You would know.
I would know. Yeah, he did that for us in Mexico City now, just giving the old forearm shiver and knocking O'Shaughnessy right down to the ground, and then just basically stood over him looking down at him like, you all right?
It's like he knew it was coming and shoulder blocked him for a loss.
Yeah. It was actually R.E. Mills. That pass towards the end zone is incomplete. Logan Keel in the area.
That was crazy. Logan Keel, it's just an interesting uniform choice. He's got 1 glove on the left hand and tape on the fingers of the right. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like,
it didn't get a catch.
Maybe the other one's broken. He forgot to put it on when he ran out. Interesting choice of things there. I don't know.
Mosley down to the slot position at the bottom. 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Struthers throws wide open into the end zone, and Denver gets a touchdown on the board and cuts into Minnesota's lead.
Logan Keel says, all I need is 1 glove and tape on my fingers, and I'll grab that catch for a touchdown and close the gap to 2 scores to help my team out in the 4th quarter. Pinning the extra point, they're only down 10.
Extra point try coming up from the Nightwings. Gene Struthers getting things turned around on that drive, Gerald. 6 of 10 in the last 10, 76 yards, and the touchdown pass. You can see most of them came in that last 5.
Right,
Only 1 incompletion in that last 5 passes.
He completed 5 of his last 6 passes with a touchdown.
Yep. They're going to need more of that as the game continues to progress here in the 4th quarter. Ball up to the 33-yard line. That is where Minnesota will take over on offense. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com.
There's a very stellar soundtrack. It's literally, if
Champions Will Rise is the name of the soundtrack.
It's an amazing. I wonder if they know how iconic their music is with this league.
Yeah. And I've heard it used in other leagues, other settings as well. It's is something that a lot of different sports leagues have found, and it's fitting. Like whoever produced that Champions Will Rise soundtrack, they like really captured what it means to have like epic sports music.
I tell you what, the way our producer Cameron Irvine uses this, unmatched.
Yeah. Just like his haircut. Colin Hart carrying the ball. He'll gain 6 on the play. Hart having not career-setting numbers, but a good night. That was his 20th carry. His 19th carry. Got 49 yards on the day. A couple of touchdowns.
And here, this is a very huge third down for Denver right here, right? I mean, they're going to have to get a huge stop here to actually force a quick turnaround and get the ball back. Blitz.
Oh, down he goes. The defense gets there, and Reno sacked. That 6-yard gain just became a 6-yard loss. 4th down and 10, and the defense does their job.
Yeah, Stephon Forge and Hugo Reynosa combining for the sack right there on the blitz. Too many blockers for the Minnesota offensive line to block. And Denver's defense did just what their offense needed, being able to get them the ball back to see if they can continue to reduce that deficit.
Fair catch called for at the 34-yard line. And the Nightwing offense back out on the field. So 6.5 minutes to go, and only down by 10. They were able to march their way down the field on that last drive, going for 12 plays, 80 yards, and getting into the end zone for a touchdown. But it did take almost 4 minutes off the clock. So far here in the second half, both teams really producing about the same amount of offense.
Yeah, and I mean, they shouldn't have to be in a crazy rush, but they need to make the most of it. They cannot. I mean, they're going to have. It's 4-down territory, if you ask me.
I would agree. Struthers up top to Mills.
Oh.
Mills stiff-arming Alvarado, giving him a taste of his own medicine. This is a forearm shiver. This,
as Matt Wilson would call R.E. Mills, they called him the General. And what does he do? He comes in there, and the General shows his dominance by sending a stiff arm by Alvarado and actually propelling himself for a first down. And I do believe getting out of bounds and stopping Mo. Maybe it did stop the clock. Look, he got out of bounds.
made him blow the whistle, but for some reason the clock continues to roll. Struthers 11 of 20, 149 yards. 2 backs in the backfield now. 6 minutes of game time left. Struthers to O'Shaughnessy. I feel like that's O'Shaughnessy's 10th run for 5 tonight.
He's been doing really well, right? Like the guy's got roughly about 7 yards of carry.
Yeah.
And he's doing really, really good. And they haven't been giving him the ball that often, but he's doing good things on the ground.
Going down to Ketchum. Ketchum not quite getting the same production as O'Shaughnessy, but picks up 1 there, setting him up with a 3rd down and 4. And being down 2 scores, you don't want to have to rely on that onside kick, Gerald. I would want to try to score a little bit quicker than they're showing right now.
Yeah, and this is a situation right here, like especially at 3rd and 4. Look, you don't have to pick it all up now, even if you are going to play a short game, but play for 4 downs. Oh man!
And Struthers goes down, sacked again. This time brought down in the backfield by Angela Meerkat. And we'll see if Coach Vega agrees on your 4-down territory thoughts.
I think it's got to, because they've only gotten down there twice, and they come away with 10 points. And how many more times can you expect your offense to get down there? It does look like they have the punter out on the field, and they're going to go ahead and punt it. I don't know if I agree with this at all.
No, I would keep the offense out there, kind of right on the cusp of, do you go for it, do you not go for it? And in this case, they do punt it away. Relying on their defense, they've had some success on defense as of late. Also, they had the wind at the back of the punter, getting it all the way down to the 14. If they can get this back quickly, it might not spell disaster. But I think I would have maybe kept the offense out there.
Yeah, and that's like There's nothing like what if it would have been a shorter, right? Instead of 4th and 11, would they have gone for it? Possibly. Maybe they thought it was a lot easier to punt it and hope your defense stops them as opposed to going for it on 4th 11. Maybe the odds, they didn't think that the percentage of converting that was really high.
Reno hands this one off. Quick handoff to the fullback, Justin Williams. He'll gain 8. The Axel Raven in the chat, rebranding National or International Women's Day to National Angela Meerkat Day.
Well, it's definitely Minnesota Angela Meerkat
sure
Day.
is.
I don't disagree. I mean, she's having a great game today.
Offset I formation on 2nd down. Colin Hart gets the first down easily and wrapped up by Quintana. But at some point, I would expect Denver to start dipping into the bag of timeouts. You're down 2 scores. At this point, I don't think you could start calling timeouts too early.
No, because you got to stop the clock because it's not your friend, and you also have to stop the opponent right here too. And don't create yourself a timeout collection because that's not helping you either.
Reno letting that clock roll. Jason Williams. It's going to be Justin Williams for 2. And that clock will now go below the 3-minute mark before the next snap.
Yeah, and collectively, like the running core of Minnesota has done better this game than what they've been having a season average. They've only averaged right at 3 yards a carry coming into this game collectively as a group. And they've got, somewhere between 3.5 to 4 yards per carry in just this game. So they're doing really, really well on the ground and picking up some yards.
Colin Hart hit in the backfield, but still able to not only get back to the line, but gain a couple of yards. As this 3rd down and 6 snap will take place just shortly before the 2-minute warning. Now, if you're Minnesota,
I would have called a timeout right there.
Well, for Denver, yeah.
I would have called a timeout right there if I was Denver. Right now that you got them on the ground for a 3rd and relatively medium and long.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was to say for Minnesota, would you just run this and let it go to the 2-minute warning, or get a little bit aggressive, try to get the first?
No, you run. Without a doubt, you run.
Reno bleeds as much of the clock off as he can, and then does indeed hand this off once again to Isaac Knox as we're about to hit the 2-minute warning. As we head to our 2-minute warning, let's head back to SFL Studios. Cameron Irvine with a game update. Cam?
Thanks, Mike. It's been a rough and tumble game, but T-Roy Gaines is winning most of his battles tonight. Gets into the end zone after fighting with the V8's defense. Baltimore takes a 21-14 lead early in the 4th. A good one there when you are done in Denver. Back to you.
Thank you, Cam. Motor City hanging in there with the champs. And Denver still hanging in this one, too. I mean, it's not a lot of time. They need a lot of points. Well, 10.
Yeah.
Can they do it?
Well, they need it off of 2 possessions, too. And I don't think they've actually had any kind of a drive that amounted to much of anything that took, less than
a few
2 minutes,
yeah.
right? So, I mean, they got to get their passing game going, and they got to stretch the field vertically right here. They just can't do 5-yard routes, and especially 5-yard routes in play.
Struthers with his completion percentage now over the 50 mark, 11 of 20 on the day. He's going to throw this one over the middle, going right back down to Logan Keel. And much to Gerald's dismay, he's up here in the booth protesting. They call a timeout. You wanted to see them try to save those for after the upcoming onside kick.
Yeah, I definitely did, because you have a lot of time, and you had a very, very good match formation with their defense. Keep that defense out there. You had separation. You ran good routes. Don't try and reset that by actually calling them out and get the defense to be able to change their packages and all that they have out on the field.
Struthers. Oh, it's caught by Keel to the end zone, touchdown for the Night Wings. They scored quick. They got it done.
They scored very quick. It made me look. I have no idea what I'm talking about. They called a timeout. They come out in a similar formation. Isolate Logan Keel on the top side of the offense right there. And he's able to catch the 50-50 ball and run it in for a score to close the gap, pinning the extra point to 3.
How did Cody Griffin miss this? Oh, he just didn't turn fast enough. He went for the pick and missed, and it cost them points as that touchdown's on the board, and we're an extra point away from a field goal game, and Denver still has 2 of their timeouts, so even if they don't recover this onside kick, which you know they're going to go for, they still have a chance.
Yeah, they did. I mean, look, and they got to have this onside kick, and they still have 2 timeouts. So, even, like you said, even if they don't get it, it's going to be, they can still use the 2 timeouts and probably have some time left to make something happen for themselves.
Onside kick coming up. Easily recovered by Minnesota. Oh, and the ball is out.
Oh, and he got hurt.
And he's hurt. Is the ball out after he was down?
No, he didn't grab it. I think somebody recovered it, fumbled it. He picked it up, and then
Minnesota football either way.
Pulled a hammy or something.
I think he recovered it and then got hurt and kind of dropped it, but he was already marked down. So ball at the Denver 34. So they do have the timeouts where they can get a stop and still get some time left, but they can't afford a field goal. Minnesota facing into the wind here. Colin Hart breaking a tackle, getting down, and that second timeout will now be called by the Night Wings.
And I do think they can actually give up a field goal here.
They could, yeah,
and still have it a 1-score game. But
that's true.
It's
ideally they just want to get the ball back without allowing some more points. But we'll see what they're able to do. 1 timeout left. Hart gets leveled. Stuart Gott says, I can do what Alvarado can do.
Shoulder charged him right here. So this is the game right here for Denver.
This
right?
is it. Yep.
Like, so if they are not able to stop them here, and what they got, a short 4 yards right here, and you've got the bell cow type back and Colin Hart back there in the backfield.
Ball is handed off. If he gets the first down, they win, and no, they get the stop. So with 1:22 and the rolling clock, we'll see Mickey Melillo coming out for a field goal to make this a 6-point ball game.
And they could potentially get this ball back.
Well, at least half a minute left.
Yeah,
if not more.
Yeah, I mean it'll be more. It'll be somewhere between 45 to 50 seconds, I believe.
Well, you get another bomb to Logan Keel where he heads off to the races. An extra point wins it. So we'll see. First, they got to make this field goal, kicking into the wind. Mickey Melillo kick is on its way, going right, bending back left. It is good. Minnesota 23, Denver 17. And the defense did what they had to do there. And now trailing by 6, they'll get the ball back.
Melillo squeezed it right in. That's the second field goal he's made. He squeezed it on the left upright earlier in the game. This one he squeezes it inside the right upright to give the team the 6-point lead and makes Denver have to score a touchdown here. Speaking
of touchdowns, hey, stay right here. We've got an exciting finish to this one still coming up. But then when this game is done, well, hey, I was just saying maybe we'll see a touchdown quick. Touchdown Motor City. They have it tied up 21 apiece in Baltimore. 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. So there's time to finish this game first. Don't leave us quite yet. We're not done here.
Well, I mean, we mentioned in the pregame show there that Hey, can Motor City put that, kind of put it all together and stay consistent? It seemed like
they're trying to get to 2-0 in the second half.
Sure.
Denver with the yardage a little bit more evened out now. See if they can take the lead in yards and points as they they nearly gave it all up right there. 2nd down and 1 as they hurry back to the line. Mosley.
I have no idea how he caught it.
Whew. 30 seconds to go, and they're going to spike the ball again to Gerald's dismay. He's about to spike his headset.
I'm like, I feel like it's a waste of time. You're going to waste it and snap it. Like, come on, man. I mean, you had a very, very good formation stuff out there. You want to keep the, in my opinion, I like the matchup that they had, with their offensive setup versus the Minnesota defensive setup there.
Struthers to throw. Goes up top into coverage. Was trying to get that one to Chris Alter. It was well defended. Cody Griffin in on the coverage.
And this is what I don't like, right? I don't like about the spike because you're here you are 4th and 1.
You lose it down now.
You lose it down without even attempting anything. So, it's a weird spot to put your team in, right? Keep going until you absolutely have to spike it.
So this one could be the ball game. If they don't get at least a first down, the game is over. If they do get a first down and the clock continues to roll, they'll have to go into the hurry up immediately. Struthers under center, 3 receivers to the bottom. He goes up top, and it's incomplete, and Minnesota is going to come out of Denver with the win.
Logan Keel had a chance to pull the ball in and get the first down, and the defender from Minnesota just was able, and not Andre Tucker, but Cody Griffin able to knock the ball out right there and get Minnesota the win. He was open. He had it in his hands. Could have pulled it in. Cody Griffin said, "I don't think so."
Yeah,
we're winning 7 in a row. Close
game. Came down to the last second. That's what you love to see, at least from a broadcaster standpoint. Very exciting finish. Tomorrow night we got more SFL action. The SFL Saturday slate features the 5-2 Houston Headhunters and the 3-4 Charleston Predators early, winners of 3 straight. That game kicks off at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Around the league Saturday evening, you can also watch Canton Queen City, Fort Worth San Diego, and Carolina Portland. For the full weekend schedule, visit simulationfl.net. Zeros on the clock. That brings us to our final: Minnesota 23, Denver 17. Gerald, your final thoughts on this one?
It just came down to Denver started out pretty good on their first drive, going down there, getting a turnover, getting points out of it, and then they did almost absolutely nothing until the 4th quarter came around. And I think had they had something happen in the second half of the first quarter, going all the way through the 3rd quarter, they might have gotten themselves in a situation to be really competitive, but they allowed, Minnesota to kind of hold strong in what they had. And Minnesota showed no panic, right? That's why they're 7-1 now. So, look, Denver may have found something, right, that they can actually capitalize on, but Minnesota is a very, very formidable opponent at 7-1, one of the top teams in the league. So, I mean, they're actually 3rd place behind the 2 undefeated teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Minnesota does indeed improve to 7-1 on the season, and the Night Wings will fall to 2-5. Next up for Minnesota, Saturday, March 16th, 6:30 p.m., they will head to Baltimore, who has a first down and goal looking to score. For Denver, they head into the bye week, and then they return Friday, March 22nd, 8 p.m. They'll head to Florida and take on the Storm. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music. Minnesota gets the win, 23-17. For Gerald Smith, Ron Haynes, Mark Mello, Cameron Irvine, and Matt Wilson, who will always be with me in spirit, I'm Mike Daggs. Thank you for joining us. Be kind to one another. Always choose happy, and have a great night, everybody.